Yes, we are back on Virtual Pool 4 online, and we're back for another match in the one loss side this afternoon, starting in about a minute or so's time. Winkatme has just arrived. Miasma arrived about 10 minutes ago, and they will be set to go in their race to 10. And we'll cover the rules straight away before I forget. Race to 10, lag for break, all non-obvious shots, combos and banks should be called. It's winner breaks. There are no jump queues, although you can jump if you wish. 60-second shot clock and a 60-second extension, and I think that about covers it. And we're just waiting on the room going up. That's a straight pool tournament that's on at the moment, and we should have well, it should be going up any second. Winkatme's not going to get much practice in, barely a rack I would think, before he's due to start. So the room is up. I'll probably have to change the cloth colour again. Yeah. Miscellaneous blue, and we're okay, we're all set. I'm in. Both players now will get the audible alert to let them know to join the room. They've got 10 minutes to get in the room, or it will time out and I will win. Well, both have arrived, and we're going to lag for break. If I can get this bloody camera to turn, that's better. Oh, right, well, I don't know who it is in the left, but they need some practice. Well, Miasma certainly does. Now, I've not seen Miasma play, but I would reckon that he's got his hands full with Winkatme. So Winkatme breaks off in the first rack, and the 6th ball is gone. Not a particularly inviting shot in the one. Oh dear goodness me, why am I starting yawning just as soon as the match has started? Because it's at the usual time. I'm usually, well, I should have had a nap about an hour and a half ago, but I haven't. Got in, got something to eat, and got the stream set up. Now I hasten to add, I should be streaming to Twitch, I should be streaming to YouTube, but who knows, I haven't got a clue whether I am or I am not. And we should definitely be streaming to Facebook. So with that good shot in the one to get him started, I was going to say Winkatme should be out, but he's gone awkward here. Needs to be careful with the cue ball as well. This is a thin cut, and of course the weight of shot has to be there to get the 5 to the pocket. And that kiss off the 8 ball has done him a big favour. Well, you can do nothing better than win the lag, break off, get a ball in the break, have a shot, and then run out. That would be an excellent start. Another testy one in this 8 ball. Cue ball's going to have to come way down the table here. And now this is a tough one. Got to force this cue ball around to get to the 10, and if this 9 ball isn't online to that pocket, it won't go in. But he's played it well. It looks to be tracking pretty good, and so a very good solid start for Winkatme. That's the way to run the table. And another ball in the break. However, although the 3 ball has gone, no shot for Winkatme. All the balls, this table must be tilted, they've all rolled to the right hand side pretty much. So what I'm looking for from miasma is all the factors that go into giving a player a chance to be competitive, and that is thinking about what they're doing, playing sensible shots and not doing anything stupid. Now of course the push out has been played. Miasma doesn't have to play this. He can give the shot back to Winkatme, and the weight of shot for the safety there was pretty poor, so that's immediate problems, especially when miasma was so short in the lag. The weight of shot in the safety there was nowhere near it, far too heavy, and now miasma is in a lot of bother, although the table is not conducive to an easy run out here, the way the balls are situated. Now miasma could push that 7 towards the 10 and just play the deliberate foul. There is a path to get to the 1, and that is not a bad effort. That is unlucky. A good effort, but no cigar, as the saying goes. So ball in hand, and Winkatme can get over to that 2 ball, probably run into the 9. Well, that was strange. I don't know what he tried there. Well, it looks as if I'm here falling asleep on my own. Nobody in the chat. Well, miasma will be in trouble again. Well, there's a better line to get to this 2 ball, and it's somewhere. I'll get my line to work. Hang on a minute. Somewhere. I was thinking more along those lines, not maybe quite like that, but something like that. And Winkatme again, nailing the cue ball onto the 7. Now is this I've lost count of fouls. This is why we should have a pop-up for spectators, because I've totally forgotten. Is he on 2 fouls, or is this going to be 2 fouls if he doesn't get a hit in this? We'll soon find out. Well, that 8 ball is in the way, the 2 ball is in the way, and this pace looks good. Once again, just not quite getting the line. But that's 2 fouls, and now Winkatme has the choice of going for 3 fouls or trying to run out. So he's made the choice, and now hasn't got the best of angles in this 4 ball. A wee bit shallow, but plenty of room, with a bit of helping bottom and left English on that probably to get to the 5. Well, this is a wee bit tricky, this 6 ball. Cue ball wants to go into the middle pocket. Well, that's why he's missed the 6, because he was wary of that. Now let's see what Miasma can do, because this is a very good opportunity to steal a rack here. And quite simply got to do it. Now a bit too much angle in this 7, but it's enough angle now to come across for the 8 over to the left hand side, but got to punch this 7 in. Well, he's holding it for the 8. Actually held it pretty well, better than I thought with the angle that was there. Now got to make sure you get out into the table and don't go near that 10, and that is perfect. That will do very nicely indeed. Couldn't ask for a better position for this 9 ball. Important that Miasma takes this to punish Winkatme. Well, that should settle the nerves. Getting a rack on the board early on, back all square, 1 rack each. And of course Miasma breaking. That's a pretty good break. Now I think a ball went in. Yeah, the 3 balls gone. No great shot in this 1 ball, but there is a safety, and it's pushed the 1 cue ball that way and down here, something like that, because that 1 ball would go back across to the bottom rail. That would be the shot I'd be looking at. There's a good angle there to do it. Well, Miasma hasn't called the 2, so well, not the best of safety shots. Got to use those angles to your advantage, and that's left the 1 on, and with the 2 hanging over this bottom right hand corner, it was not a very well thought out safety. I mean, one aspect of it is that if the 1 travelled any further, it would have been behind the 6 and 4, but I prefer the shot that I saw. That would have certainly got distance, might not have got cover, but it certainly wouldn't have been giving my opponent a free go. So Winkatme, from the poor safety, has a chance to reverse the punishment for Miasma. Got to get the safeties. That's another little tester just to hold for this 8 ball, because again, if you went forward, the cue ball just going to go straight down to the bottom rail here, and he had to stun across far enough, just a wee bit short, but the angle is a bit more than he would like again. So that's what happens when you play a poor safety against players of this sort of quality. You give them an easy starting shot, they're just going to plot their way around the table and take the rack out, and well, a gift of a start and a 2-1 lead, but Winkatme's broke and scratched, and now this is a big ask for miasma. All the balls on the table, ball in hand, 2 ball at the opposite end of the table, 3 ball down this side of the table on the bottom left hand side, so there's a lot of movement to be done with the cue ball, and this is a test of miasma's ability. Well, okay, he's not fully snookered, but difficult to get this safe. He can only hit half of the 2 ball, and hitting half of it, the 2 ball's just going to go back up into the table. Could call the bank, believe it or not. The bank, and you've got to avoid a double kiss, but you cut the 2 onto the rail to send it down into this pocket. Needs a bit of luck and has got it. That will do. That's all you hope for when you play a kick shot. And that's not bad. Not difficult to hit the 2. But Winkatme's missed the kick. Now miasma needs to think carefully here, because we've got 2 balls tied up, the 4 and the 6. Is there any value in potting this 2 ball when there is an option of another half decent safety here? He could draw into the 4 and 6 and then hope that he still has a shot in the 3. But if he doesn't do anything, then there's no point in potting the 2. Well, I believe that's what he tried, but with ball in hand you've got to put it at the right angle to give yourself that shot and breaking up the 4 and 6. Well, now the other option is, if you can get the cue ball over to here, you can punch that 4 around the table and kill the cue ball right there, but he's not going to be able to do that. And I think he's just got the pace this time. That's a better one. Now the 7 is next to the 10, and Winkatme's played a good one. Well, the 7's tight to get to pot it, but that was a good kick safe by Winkatme, and miasma in trouble. Can't get to the 4 on the left hand side. simply has to go somewhere before that right middle pocket to try and get the kick on the 4. Well, he's looking to try and come down the rail. He's looking at that angle, but it's extremely tight. And I don't. Well, he's still not looked at the right hand side. I mean, the angle's there to get to the 4, and it might be somewhere like that. That might not be it, but somewhere along that line. But in the end, he tried something that wasn't really on, ran into the knuckle, ball in hand. I think maybe even Winkatme tried to nudge the 7 there. The 7 doesn't really need to be moved, but you've got to play a good shot to get right on that 7. And Winkatme didn't fancy it, and well, he could have played that better because he's left the 5 on. That 5 cuts. I'm pretty certain it does, or does it? No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. That's a good one. My eyes are playing up again. Well, Moz, you're the only person in the chat, or at least if you are, you're the only person that's chatted. Good afternoon, or good morning. What time is it? About 11 AM over there. Texas will be like, what, 5 or 6 hours behind us. Well, Miasma's got a long distance shot in this 7, and I think it's going to be touch and go for this to be a legal shot. This 7 ball. Well, I think that's legal. I think he got there first, but no position on the 8. But a great chance to tuck this cue ball away. It could be the bank, but it could be the safety. If you just pick that line and try and tuck that cue ball over behind the 10, you could also go the other way, go that way, send the 10 back the way and miss the scratch and get down here somewhere. So there's 2 choices for safeties here. Neither of them are particularly easy, but Miasma is called, I don't know what pocket it's called, one of the middle ones I presume. I don't know whether it's the cut or the bank. Well, Winkatme made a mistake in the second rat. Miasma got the 3 or 4 balls he needed to square the match and then played a poor safety. But if that was the pocket he called, it was a good bank, and now even more trouble for him. Now this is a shot where really it's all out for the cut. There's no danger of scratching if it's just a plain ball. Well, was it a wrong call? I don't know what the hell happened. Did they call a safety? See, this is where I'm not paying attention here. Winkatme's at the table. It must have been the wrong pocket. Anyway, Winkatme has a choice of playing or passing, and has played an excellent pot, and it's going to be 3-1. So even this early in the match, it's a bit worrying for Miasma. And again, I'm going to hark back to the fact that there were two possible safety shots on there, and I keep saying this about players being one-dimensional.
if you don't fancy the shot, and you don't have to feel forced into having to go for everything that you see. You have to wind your neck in from time to time and try and apply a bit of pressure to the opponent. And I think a good safety there would have been more beneficial. Got to be brave enough to take them on, but take them on at the right time. And if Miasma's fallen adrift early on in the match, it's going to be a tall order to get back into this. So there's a 2-rat gap. Well, I mean, that's where it annoys me that players have a sort of gap in their knowledge when the safety factor is a big weapon to use in any game. And it annoys me when players feel some sort of urge to just try and keep potting balls, and you know, all the time the percentage on a shot is maybe pretty low, not only to pot it but to get good position in the next ball. So what's the value in taking it? You know, and Miasma could have played a safety, but that's by the by. It's all over and done with now. Winkatme's tried to get safe, probably has ended up getting safe, but it was not exactly a great execution. Left the one on, but has got cover behind the 7. And here's the attempt to jump. I think the cue's got to get jacked up a bit more. Yeah. Now, of course, it's going to be ball in hand to Winkatme, but he's got an angle on this 1, but not risking breaking the 2. Could have potted a 1 and stunned into the 4 and 2 and 8. And another hopeless safety shot by Winkatme. That is absolutely pathetic. That's probably one of the worst safety shots that he's ever played. I'm glad I got that in video. So we've now got the Potman shot, the Cobra shot, and now we've got the Winkatme safety, which is non-existent. Oh yeah, when you see shit, you have to call it shit. I mean, that was really poor. And now poor Miasma's going to be in trouble here. Well, the Potman shot in whatever match it was I was watching, he had 5 attempts, you know, just to roll a ball and get the cue ball behind the object ball for a snooker. But on 5 attempts he never got a ball to a rail. The Cobra shot was a reasonably straight in 10 ball that Cobra missed. You'd never miss it in your worst day, and he missed it into this bottom right hand corner pocket, and was probably the worst pot that Cobra's ever played, or worst attempt. So Winkatme gets the reward for the safety, trying to open things up, and hasn't really improved it. The 4 is still dead where it is. It's not going past the 7, I said confidently. And then when you look at it, it will go. That will go. Well, it's just a gentle roll in. Squeeze it past the 7, roll through, and you've got the 5 in the middle. That's the plan here. Yep, it was tight, but it did go. And then of course the last problem is the 8 ball, but the good thing about that is the 7 is very adjacent to it, so you just drop the 7 in and you're on the 8. So it really all is going to clinch on getting down on the 6. That's all that matters off this shot, and I think he's entirely the wrong angle in this 5. Yeah, this is not anywhere near an easy shot. Absolutely wrong angle. Now he's called across bank. Oh, it thought about going in. Now these opportunities might not come along too much for Miasma, but he just simply has to find a way out here. Can he find a way? He can certainly avoid hitting any of those 3 balls. He's got to be careful about the 10. But this cue ball should be going around 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 rails to land a cut shot in this 6. And the shot is there. It's that. Well, if he'd played it right, there's no way he'd have been running into them. No way. Another poor execution. Let's have a look at this 8 and 9. Well, that's going in every day. Every day this week that 9 ball's going in. And Miasma is in deep trouble here. How to get this safe? At that distance you just don't know. You try your best to get the thin edge, but it's so difficult. And this is why getting distance on a safety shot, even if you don't get cover, if you get distance, it creates a problem. And well, Winkatme should already have looked at the 8 and 9. He knows he doesn't have to do anything other than just drop the 6 in and make sure that he doesn't roll up to the 10, because that 9 is going in. It's going to go to that knuckle, but dead weight pace, it's got to drop. And well, he's going to have to kick it in. He's looked at it. It's just got to be a kick, not too hard, to give it every opportunity to drop, and also to keep the 8 ball fairly adjacent as well. And that will do. That's worked out perfect, and this is worrying times for Miasma. He's got his 1 rack, but is he going to get any more? And if he's waiting on Winkatme making lots of errors to gift him chances and racks, I don't think he's got that plan's going to work. So it's now 4-1. Five ball goes in, 2 ball goes in, no shot in the 1, but this cue ball should be right down here near the 10, somewhere down that way. Oh, and he's just squirted through. Well, I think it's a tall order for Miasma to run this rack. I mean, the balls are all there, but how good is he at moving the cue ball? And that's just running to no man's land. The pace control isn't there. So this is where you're just letting a cue ball run, and the cue ball's running out of control sometimes. It's another tall order because I think he's the wrong angle in the 4 again. Now once again, there's a safety on. All you do is push it there, send it down that way, and leave the cue ball in here. I mean, that's the safety. It's this is again just trying desperately to do something when it's not on. I mean, look, no shot in the 6, and now it's a free go again for Winkatme. And if he can get the gap between the 8 and 10, He's well on with taking this rack out, and he's found a gap again. Questionable shot choice by Miasma. You have to play the safety. You've got to assess the situation. How good are you going to be at getting on that 6 ball? Well, you've got virtually no chance of getting on it, and well, may well be made to pay the price again. This is a bit of a test though. This is not pretty, but it's a gentle roll in just to stop the cue ball running too far. He's going to run through, he'll be on the 9, but it's got to be sort of dead weight. Yeah, well, he's overhit that because he certainly didn't want to leave it there. I presume he may have tried to play the safety. It's difficult to tell, but Miasma, with all that top spin, was never going to get to the 9. And I don't think the bank's on either, because he can't see enough of the 9. Well, maybe he can. Can he get behind the 10 though? Oh, that double kiss has almost helped. Now, well, it's a straight roll into the middle, is it? Yeah. The testy cut in the 10 for 5-1. And in it goes. And I do have grave concerns for Miasma here on being able to run a few balls together to get another rack. And Winkatme couldn't have asked for a better break off. Nothing better than breaking off. The 1 goes in and you're sitting pretty on the 2 and everything's there. And this rack should be all but over. Oh, that's gone square, and he's going to have to run around the angles to go over to the right hand side. Leave himself on the 6. He's got to let the cue ball run. And now it's simple from the 6 to the 7. Drop the 6 in. Well, he's decided to come up the table. Just as easy just to drop the 6 in and play the 7 into the right middle, but it's all going to hinge on the angle now. And he's going to have to force this. And the pace looks good. Again, nothing to do. Roll the 9 in, cut the 10 for 6-1. I've seen far too many players in this tournament. I'm talking about the players who aren't favourites to win it. They're not going to be contenders to win it. Miasma's one of them, but I've seen a lot more with the same thought process, or the same lack of thought process, that they are too one-dimensional, feeling forced into going for shots they should never really be going for when there are safety options there. And especially if you don't necessarily have the ability to be able to run 4 and 5 balls that you may well need to win a rack, then you have to use other factors in the game. You have to use that safety strategy to create problems for your opponent. You have to concede the fact that this guy is going to more than likely run the table if he gets a good chance with the balls open, so you have to do things to prevent that. And there's far too many players are showing a lack of thought in assessing a situation and taking it for what it's worth, and rather than just trying to bang a ball and create something out of nothing. It just isn't going to happen, and you're not going to win racks. You're just going to give free goes to your opponent. That's going to scratch. Well, the only thing that's saving miasma here is the fact the 3 9's tied up, etc. But it's going to be a lot easier for Winkatme just to go for 3 fouls if he can, because there's no point. Again, there's no value in potting a 1. So if miasma doesn't hit this, it's yeah, it's really not worth potting a 1. It's probably worth potting it and playing another snooker to go for the 3 fouls. Miasma's called the 1 into the middle. So now let's see what Winkatme thinks. Again, can nail miasma behind the 4. And that's this proper strategy. Make your opponent work for it, put the pressure on them, and don't be taking a risk on trying to do something when these balls are such a mess here with the 6, the 10, the 9 and the 3. Well, he's trying to find an angle there. It's between the 8 and 7, somewhere by that middle diamond on the top rail, to come down and try and clip the 1. That's the only angle that's there to get to this 1 ball. There's certainly no point in looking behind the 4. It's somewhere up there, like that. In fact, that's probably too narrow, that line, but it's along those lines, and you've got to miss the middle pocket. That might be in the way. Well, that's brought the 3 into play, and of course it doesn't matter because that's 3 fouls, and it's 7-1, and Winkatme's broke off. The 10 has gone in. Sorry, something went in. Was it the 9? No, tell a lie, it wasn't. It was the 2. I thought the 10 had gone in there, but of course no, it was a cue ball. Ball in hand to miasma. So the 2 ball is gone. It should be a roll through on the 1. Three ball into the right middle. In fact, the easier shot would probably be to pot the 1 into that top right hand corner. Well, has he got good on the 3? That's not bad. Well, it's a drawback. Now the control of the pace is important to find a gap between the 6 and 10, and he hasn't got it. He's basically stunned it. Has he still got the cut? Yes, he has. Well, got to stay focused. Got to get that second rack in the board. Wrong angle on this 6. Now let's have a look. Now there is enough room behind the 10 and 8 to get the cue ball around and out into the table. It looks as if he's playing a draw again. Well, the 6 ball has gone in, but that wasn't called, so that's a missed call. And worse still, the 7 is into the middle, the 8's on, and this rack is over. And again, a poor shot choice. I think Miasma was lost for ideas there, but the cut angle in the 7 into the left middle and around behind the 8 and 9 was the shot. And it's just another free go for Winkatme. He's a bit straight in the 9 though, but no problems. Just get it spun out. So it's now well past the point of no return for Miasma. Winkatme 8-1 up, under no pressure whatsoever. Breaks off in rack number 10, and the 8 ball has gone. No shot for him in the 1. Just content to play the push. And again, I mean, I would hope that, and most of these players that are on the end of a beating, I would just wish they would look at their match and maybe see where they're going wrong. If anything, just to help them think a bit better on and what shots to go for and where to find the safety when necessary. Again, that'll be the missed call. Miasma, don't think can see the 2, or can he? Well, can see it, but can't pot it, and can pass it back to Winkatme. But well, if he just plays this gentle, he can bank the 2, miss the 5, and leave the cue ball there like that. That's a good shot. Good evening, or good late afternoon, Potman. This match won't be prolonged much longer. And Winkatme gets the kick, but the double kiss I think is left to 2 on, or has it? Has it gone safe? Well, no, that is perfectly safe. That will do very nicely indeed. Another successful kick safe for Winkatme. And Miasma has not got any sort of easy shot here to get this safe. I mean, he can just gently cut it soft, but it needed to be softer than that. The cue ball was going to hit the rail. He should have just dropped dead near the 3. So we've seen far too much evidence in this match from yet another player where the touch isn't there, the confidence to play certain shots isn't there, because they've not got their mouse dialed in. I keep saying it. If you have your mouse at that comfortable setting, then you don't think twice about playing those type of shots. They're delicate, they need a delicate touch, and you have to have every faith in the settings that you've got your mouse at to be able to play them. Now I'm just reading the chat there. Never fiddle with mouse settings before an important game. Well, that's been more than evident that there's something been messed with. And miasma is now in deep trouble behind this 9-ball. And we'll have a look at the bracket, because there's been I think there's been another couple of matches arranged. We'll have a look at that. Today's the 21st. This is the only match that is scheduled for today, unless other guys meet up and decide off pat just to play their match, but this is the only one that's been scheduled for today. But there has been another 2 arranged, I believe, and we'll double check that at the end of this match just to get up to date. Well, that's a good kick. Needs a bit of luck, and that's not bad. There's nothing left easy here. And Winkatme now quite prepared to go for anything if he gets a sight in a ball. A comfortable lead, but the 3's been missed now. Miasma should be taking this rack out. It is not difficult. Now this 5-ball, you have to drag this. If he's going to come out off this 4, the important shot will be from the 5. Oh, what's he done here? Oh no, I think he can get to it. Well, he still needs to just stun this in and kill it. Yeah, and we know what happens when you stun them, and that was a golden opportunity thrown away. There's no way he should have been anywhere near that 10-ball. These sort of things should be more than obvious to players. You've got to take evasive action, make sure that you don't get yourself hooked. And another free go for Winkatme, and this is dead easy, this one. Drop the 9, drop the 10 to be within 1 of the next round on the 1 loss side. So Winkatme breaking off in the rack that he needs, and I don't think he's getting any joy this time. And it's all locked up for miasma, nothing on. Now again, this is where you have to think about this push out, because you don't want to leave a push out where Winkatme can just bury you with a snooker, clip off that 1 and leave you locked somewhere down the bottom of the table with no sight on it, with the 1 behind the 6. Well, that's possibly miasma's last shot in the match. And the only way this can go wrong is if Winkatme locks himself behind a 5 like that. So miasma lives again. Trying to massey it onto the rail and clip the 3, but so difficult to get right. Now here's another chance for miasma, and with these balls, picking your way through this to run out is not difficult, but if you don't have that control and confidence with the cue ball, it will be tough, because the 5 ball is not easy, but it's not difficult to go over behind it. Now let's have a look. That 4, a little draggy shot. Well, he's going to hook himself behind at 7. That wasn't the way to get there. Had to play the little draggy shot to go over and at least leave maybe a cut into the left middle as we look. And he's now partially hooked on this 5. Can he get enough of it to pot it? It might be tight, but I think he can get it. Now this cue ball has to stay away from the 10. Oh dear. And they're just not going to fall into shape if you don't get that right shot. Now is it a spin around the 10? The spin around the 10 looks good to me from here. Just jack the cue up, get a little spin onto the rail, and clip the 6. You don't need to try to jump the 10, but you can certainly spin around the 10. I don't even think he needed to do that. He's actually played it pretty well. Well, there's a cross bank on this 6 ball if Winkatme wants to risk it. He's tried to drop it into the middle and got away with it to a certain extent. So it's a 6-8 combo. Needs to be gentle though to keep the 6 there, and that will do. But it's dead straight now. Well, you can pinch this and use spin to get the cue ball off that side rail onto the bottom rail and out into the table, but you have to cheat the pocket a bit to create that angle. If not, it's just going to be a straight draw and needing a bit of luck and not getting it really. Well, this may well be miasma's last shot if he can't get this safe. Now let's have a look. The bank's not on. Well, he's called the 9. This is all or nothing. Need to watch that cue ball though. If he's playing draw on it, you're near that middle pocket. Well, he's missed a hit in the 9, and well, the match is over now. I think he's ended up pretty straight, but just I think he can again pinch an angle. He's just checked it to come out to the right, but a roll in the 10, and it is a very comfortable win for Winkatme by 10 racks to 1. So we'll have a look at the bracket just to catch up. Oh, wrong thing, hang on a minute, I get this. Take us to the thing, and we'll see what's been set. So today is the 21st. If we run from top to bottom on the one loss side, down here we've got Snake Eyes against Bedhead has been arranged, and that is for Wednesday night, and that is going to be worth watching. That should be a very good match. Bedhead will be the favourite, but if Snake Eyes plays to a decent standard and stays in the match long enough, there could be trouble for Bedhead. So that's going to be at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. I am off on, well, I finish on Tuesday at tomorrow at noon. So from tomorrow at noon right through Wednesday and Thursday, I've got the 2 days off. So we'll get that one. Now, what date's that? Is that a couple of days later? Is that the 25th? I need to get out my chair to get right over to the monitor. Yes, it is. So that is Friday. Friday night, 9 ball will be on at 8 o'clock, but an hour before it, we've got Cobra versus Larry. Now, there's a mouth-watering tie, if ever there is one. So they're going to be good to go on Friday night at 7. I'll be there for that. And tomorrow at 11:15, well, unlucky for Moz, because I'll be up at that time. Moz will be strong favourite against Senny, but Senny can pop balls. The only concern with Senny is keeping shape, and he's the only Scot in the tournament. But that's set for 11:15 tomorrow night. I'll be there for that one. And as we go further down the one loss side, we've got Linus to play Party Marty. Winkatme has now moved through to play Sky Bitter, and Sylvia, after that excellent win against McClarkey by 10 racks to 7, is through to play Bankster in the next round in the one loss side. And we've got Mr. Bill set to play Sergaresh. Bill should be the favourite for that, but I haven't seen Sergaresh play yet. Over on the winner's side, well, there's not anything set apart from the Mooncake one, which is on, now what date is this? The 21st, Monday, Tuesday 22nd. That's Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And that's the winner's side match between Mooncake and Spectre Dawn. So we will have that one live streamed as well. And then as we go further up the winner's side, Semi-Pro set to play Stub whenever they arrange that. And finally, the big match. And the reason I'm saying that is Albinario has been playing to a very high standard in all his matches, but Acero was pretty good in his match against Larry and won out 14-7. But Acero hardly put a foot wrong in that match, and as I said at the end of that match, my only concern for Acero is whether or not he can get to the same level again. He's going to have to be tight, and he's going to have to keep it tight against Albinario, because if he gives Albinario chances, Albi will just take him out. So that is us up to date. So matches to come over the next couple of days. I hope you can join me. I'll be there. And if you can't join me, don't forget, any match that you want to review, you can watch it on YouTube. It'll be on my YouTube channel. And but if you can join us, you'll be more than welcome. So until then, folks, it's been a short and sweet afternoon. Take care, stay safe. We'll see you again soon, and I'm off to get my dinner.